Hey there, Internet. It's Code War Malo here. Decided to do something kind of cool, I think. I am a bachelor for a week, and so I decided that I should try to make a game in that time. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is a game that I've made before, or attempted to make before in Flash. I don't remember what. I'm sure some situation or something came up where I stopped working on it, or I ran into graphic issues, or I ran into something in Flash. Uh, so I know the concept, and I think I can go ahead and implement it pretty quickly using Unity. So I'm going to try to make a fairly professional game from start to finish, and not that I'm not going to show every single step of every single thing that I do, but just the kind of kind of overview of the progress as it goes, right? So I'll try to keep these videos about 20 minutes or so, and you can come along this journey with me and see if I'm successful, which I have a little bit of confidence. I think I will be. So I have Photoshop open here just to kind of show the concept here of what I want to do. So what I want is a side-scrolling game that maybe has several layers of animated background. By animated, I mean like parallax, right? Scrolling. So maybe like a far part that scrolls slower, middle part that scrolls faster, and then a front part that scrolls fastest. All right. Then let's go ahead and clear that. Then on top of that, the game concept is actually so you have a UFO, and he can go this way or that way along the screen, and what you want to do is you want to pick up these little aliens who should wave their hands so that you pick them up, and then you press the fire button, and you should be able to beam them up. And they should be there's a threat, right? So like this little agent man who can shoot them and can kill them. And so the game, of course, would have a scoreboard. It would have how many aliens you need to rescue, how many you've lost, either by the agents killing them or you dropping them or whatever. And then there may be other threats and things that come into play, but I think to make a playable game with this concept, I think is very doable in a week. Looks like it says boo. So that's what I'm going to head for. All right. So I'm going to use Unity. I'm going to build some images. I'm probably going to. I might find some images online to use as placeholders until I'm actually able to build images to take those places. Hopefully by the end of this week, not only will I have a playable game and a good game, but something that may even be marketable with a few tweaks or whatever. In the original Flash game, when I was working on it, I don't think I was doing any kind of upgrades to the ship, like its speed or the beam speed or anything like that. I think I want to keep it fairly old school style arcade, right? So basically endless levels. So once you rescue all the aliens that you're supposed to rescue in that level, you move on to a new wave, if you will, new level, almost like Defender or the way Choplifter was, or anything like that. All right. So let me get Unity up and running, and I'll do some work in it, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done. All right, I am back. stupid squeaky chair. So, wow, there's a lot of songbirds here. So I have added a few things now to my project. I started the project. I made some folders to try to organize everything properly. I have a sky, which is this blue piece. I have a star field behind it, which is just a black square with some stars on it, and then I have a ground, and that's really all I have at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I just laid these out. If I click on the camera, you can see that it's extending beyond, everything extends beyond the camera, so that it looks right. So the next step, obviously, is to get some sprites in here. So I am going to build some something to be the UFO, something to be the layers for far, middle, and near. Probably something for the daylight change, because this sky is going to fade out, and then you'll see the night sky. So maybe I can have like a sun or a moon or something rotating around, just to add a little flavor to the background. And then I need to make, obviously, the aliens and the agent and the spaceship, but I think I'm going to go try to find some things for, at least for the agent, maybe for some other stuff, because I don't want to, I just need placeholders, right? So that is what I'm going to do. So if you have not used Unity before, I'll give a quick overview of what's going on here. Is that any item that is in your hierarchy has properties, and you can pull anything that's an asset that can be turned into a game object from your project folders onto Unity. And then really it's just a matter of modifying this stuff and then building some scripts that will help to do that. So I think what I will do is, before I start doing some of those other assets, because that's going to take some time, I will spend some time to build a couple scripts that I think will be needed, and I'll show you how we lay those out. So as you see, I've added an asset here, a spaceship, a little UFO. I've added sun and moon. I've coded the fade out of the sky, and I've added some more code to the way that the ship works. So I can run this right now, and you can see. So all of these elements are created on the fly. You can see there's an error, a mistake, just above the spaceship at this point, to the upper right, where the seams of the background are not coming together perfectly, but that can be dealt with later. But the mountains are in the way back. The piece that is unseamed there is in the middle, and then the trees and the little ground in front of the trees is the foreground. And there I have my little alien that I've made. I can show you that real quick under sprites. This is what it looks like. I created this using Photoshop. So I just made these little 8-bit style sprites with the alien running. So and then getting shot, because they can get shot, being dead, and then like being joyful. This is probably going to be like waving to the spaceship. and that's just what he's set at right now. The sun and the moon rotate around. The sky dims while the sun goes down, and then lightens again as the moon goes down, or the sun comes up, either way. The clouds have transparency. They are in front of the sun and the moon, so you can see the sun through there right now. You can see each other through them as well. And it's all randomly placed, and it's just generated on the fly. So you see there's nothing over in the hierarchy. If I run it, then you'll see all the elements being created. These cloud clones, they show those. Mountain clones, middle ground clone, foreground, alien clone. So so that's where I am at this point. My ship will actually, I think it will rock back and forth. I guess it doesn't. I thought it did. There's two aliens right here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to work on this. This is where I am at this point. Alright, I'm back. So I've done a lot of coding in the past hour. Just been banging things out quickly. I have a bunch of scripts now over here. And I can show you some of that code either now, or maybe I'll wait for like sort of a post-mortem kind of thing. We'll see. Squeaky chair. Squeaky chair. I rearranged this stuff so it's a little bit more manageable. It was getting kind of out of hand. I added a scoreboard up here that has the score, how many you've rescued, how many you've lost. There's a radar system so that you can kind of see ones that are off the screen but not, you can't see the entire world. Let's see, what else? I have a shadow on the ship, and it actually fluctuates a little bit. I was thinking about, although I haven't implemented this yet, maybe the clouds should sort of move like with a breeze, like they should move on their own. So if you're standing still, those clouds should have a random movement across the screen. And then, of course, when you move, that would just be adjusted just like the little aliens. The aliens walk now, they wave, and you can abduct them at this point. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll show you what it looks like at this point. So there's a little guy. He wants to be abducted. If I move away from him far enough, he'll go into his mode, which at this point he's not smart. He should be running towards me, but instead he's running away. But as I get closer, he's like, "Hey, come get me." Here comes another buddy. There's two of them running. So I can abduct them. I'm getting them both. Look at that. Cut them with the beam. And then once you do that, you'll see that they're right now I'm getting 25 points each, and it says I've rescued 2. It doesn't say how many there are, so I might want to do that later. So here's another one. So this one I'm gonna let die. So if you start beaming an alien and you stop beaming him, he'll just plummet to the ground and die. So I don't know if I have the code that actually does what I want it to do, which is to make him fade. I think it just removes him once he dies. So let's see. So start to beam him. I'm gonna stop, and so he's dead. And that might have been not far enough. Okay, so it doesn't call the destruction code, but that's okay. So that one's dead. He's lost, and you can see him though he's still on the radar up there. And the other thing, if you look at the radar at the top, when I go to beam one up, you'll actually see that the radar, the icon for the alien on the radar, will actually come on up. So you see it, look at the radar, it's coming up to the ship. Boop, he's in the ship. Retract my beam and take off. So I'm looking at the sun. It looks a little distorted. Doesn't look quite round to me, but that could be my brain. Or I could have done something to screw it up, which is very possible. So At this point, what I need to test, now you can see that that mountain is just kind of like a rock sticking out, but all these graphics, 99% of these graphics I'm not going to use. I kind of like my trees, but I may not. I may change those. Let's see if I can grab him. Yep. So it's really easy. So I might need to modify either their collision detection collision box or my beam's collision box, because it seems like I shouldn't be able to get him right on that edge. What should happen is he should walk closer to it once I start beaming. That's a nice shot there of the cloud going over the sun. So I want them to move. Okay, so here's a break. So there's a break right here. And what I don't know is this obviously is the end of the screen. So it may be a matter of that I don't have enough of them. I haven't seen a break like that in the middle ground, but if I did find one, of course it's moving a lot slower than the foreground, but if I did find a broken spot in the middle ground, then that would lead me to believe that my code for completing that full stitch is what's wrong. And it may be I actually did a little possibly silly thing. I'm using 720 to determine if I need to move the piece back to the other side, but I'm only building him to 700 by negative 700 to positive 700. So it's possible that it might be that might be the problem. So that when they're wrapping around, they're kind of getting misplaced a little bit. But that's totally fixable, not a big deal. It works for the most part. So far I don't see a break. And if you saw a break, you see that little green sticking over that hill right there? I think you would just see a solid green. So like that little green sticking over the hill. I think what you would see, here it is. Yep. So there's a break for that too. So I'm pretty sure that's the issue, is that I'm either not going far enough when I place them out, or when they're wrapping around I'm screwing up the replacement because I'm waiting 20, which probably, I would imagine that you should start seeing unstitched stuff. And that's not what was occurring, at least I don't think, in the last update that I did, where my ship was just hanging out and there was an unstitched area. You can see there's a gap there. So I'm pretty sure that's what's going on, is I'm slightly adjusting them wrong. That's fine. That can be fixed. Okay, so I have 4. I killed 1, so there should be 5 more. But of course, they're not showing up on the radar at this point, and I don't know how many I have left. It doesn't say. So I'm definitely going to add that. Maybe just move rescued closer to lost, and add like a total or aliens or something in front of that. And then add some logic for I thought the ship should have turned red when I did that. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Add some, maybe add some logic for running towards the beam when the beam's down, and then they can see it, or they're close enough or something. They should start running towards the beam. Maybe make the clouds move a little bit on their own, and at that point, I think that the game is definitely playable. So I'll probably add a little bit of polish to it. So I may work a little bit on the menu system. Then I will spend some time to kind of clean up some of these simple graphics, make them maybe a little bit better, maybe some gradients to these hills so they're not so plain. And I need to fix whatever's wrong with that stitching, which is not a big deal. And there's definitely, and maybe it's because I've resized. Let's see if that changes my. No, so for some reason these circles are not circles anymore. And they were at one point, but really does not look like a circle to me. So I'll probably deal with that too. Alright, so that's where I am. I will show code, and there's a lot of it, another time. So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead. It's about 4:30. I'm gonna go ahead and probably have some food, sustenance, maybe brew some coffee, and maybe do one or two things around the house, and then I will go ahead and code for at least another hour, maybe 2 hours, and then I'll film what I've done then, and then take another break.